Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to What You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore reference 26470OR, or as it's better known, the Pounder. You can see this Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore on our website, whatyouwant.com. Purchase it there. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, What You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of this video at any time to see our full listing for this watch with accessories included, high-resolution images, and of course, complete pricing. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this is what it looks like to wear a watch named after a cannon. For obvious reasons, when you've got this much gold and a nickname like the Pounder, do I really have to put two and two together for you? This thing is massive, and it easily earns its nickname. Now, entirely rose gold, bezel, case, bracelet, and clasp. The watch is nevertheless a conventional 42mm Royal Oak Offshore, albeit entirely in precious metal, and with the less commonly seen bracelet option. In general, these are equipped with leather or rubber straps, but the combination of the bracelet and the gold case really integrates the look in a fashion that harks back to the original 1972 Gerald Genta Royal Oak. Now, in terms of outright size, it is 42mm across the round of the case, although as I like to say when you have a cushion-shaped watch, that's really a theoretical measurement because there really is no round of the case, as you can well see from this angle. Now, 42mm across, not including the crown guard, pushers, or crown. The watch is a robust 53mm, 53.5 to be fair, from absolute extremity of one side of the case to the opposite absolute extremity. So that's your lug-to-lug measurement, 53.5mm. Now, in terms of thickness, it's actually not as overwhelming as you'd expect. It is 14.5mm, and there's a little bit of a tumble home or slope to the bezel, such that you really can fit this one under a blazer sleeve or a sport jacket sleeve, or if you're wearing a loose sweater, again, no problem. You're probably off limits if dress cuffs are in question, but this is a watch that's designed to be seen, not hidden underneath a cuff. Now, in terms of the ergonomics, they're actually superb because the cushion-shaped case does a good job of distributing that incredible mass on the wrist. Now, this is the post-2014 version of the Pounder, so there are some refinements that I'm going to highlight in a moment, and you'll see the obvious changes from pre-2014. But the bracelet itself is a wonderful continuity within the Offshore line. Just like the original Royal Oaks, entirely hand-finished, you get a remarkable diversity of surfacing, and you can see the finish is satin on top, likewise satin on its flanks, but in between, and the light really catches it at this angle, there's a beautiful polished beveled shoulder that runs on the upper tip of the bracelet on both sides. You can see how it catches the light, and that same hand beveled taper appears on the case flank, disappears, and then reappears as it exits out the other side of the integrated lug to bracelet interface. Now you have that same kind of contrasting finish on the bezel itself, and you'll note the Offshore's signature has always been that fully expressed bezel gasket. Unlike the hint of the gasket that you get on the conventional Royal Oak, on the Offshore, it adds another element between case and bezel, and the contrast between the black and the rose gold is exceptionally effective here. Really handsome, and you can see how it's used to good effect on the dial as well. Now, turning it over, you can see it is a double deployant, twin trigger actuated clasp, very handsomely finished, inside entirely satin. It's a double and to good effect because if you have a smaller wrist, that one big up and over of a single fold deployant can be quite uncomfortable and pinch skin. Here you have the convenience of a double. You have a seamless look when it is closed. You can see it doesn't stick its head above the parapet. The AP logo really is the only cue as to the parting point. And with twin triggers, it's not going to pop open accidentally. It's not friction fit. You do have to positively release it with the triggers. Now, the case itself surrounds a gorgeous combination of bezel and dial. You can see the inset high-polished stainless steel bezel bolts, characteristic of the Royal Oak Offshore, and then moving inboard on the Pounder, effective use of a tritone, black, white, and of course gold tones. Now you can see the mega tapisserie dial, the waffle pattern cut on a traditional pantograph machine, and since 2012 made in-house at AP. You can also see the dramatic contrast between the black and the golden elements across the dial. Each one of the applied 18-karat rose gold Arabic numerals, does have black luminova within for contrast. It's a little bit faint when the lights go out, but it does glow, so you get that beautiful contrast, and you still get some of the sports watch low and no light visibility. Now the tachometric scale swoops in, giving a nice transition from the flat of the bezel to the tapisserie of the dial, but if we go one better down to the sub-registers, you can see from this angle this beautiful polished golden chapter ring around each one of the sub-registers, and the white on black printing is exceptionally legible in any light. Now I should mention that there is a date window, and happily the magnifier is on the underside of the crystal, so unlike Rolex's Cyclops Eye, it doesn't stick up above the sapphire. Nicely hidden, you can see that in the tradition of the Royal Oak Offshore, there being a modular chronograph on top of an automatic base movement, it is sunken just a bit into the dial. It does feature a quick set date change function. Likewise, the watch features hacking seconds and a vertical clutch chronograph module, such that if you want to keep the chronograph running continuously, there is no hazard to the movement. The vertical clutch engages. You can see it is a very smooth stop-start, unlike the lateral clutch, which can jump a little bit. So you have that refinement of being able to have hours, minutes, and seconds should you run the chronograph continuously at center for easy legibility. Now I talked about some post-2014 refinements. You can see the first of them here, slightly reprofiled crown guards. The watch also features ceramic chronograph pushers and a crown surround. Unlike the nitrile previously used on the Royal Oak Offshore, these are virtually scratch-proof, highly scratch-resistant. They have far better longevity than the old polymer-coated units. Now on the case back, we find another one of those post-2014 refinements. Previously with solid casebacks, the Royal Oak Offshore 42s now feature full sapphire display backs, and yet they don't compromise the 100-meter water resistance of the unit, so it's still very much a sports watch that can get wet and wild if you've got the courage to take the plunge with a pound of gold. Now the movement itself is the caliber 3126 with 3840 chronograph module. It has 59 joules, 365 parts. It beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. As I said, quick set and hacking. It also features a beautifully dual-anchored balance bridge for shock attenuation and a rugged, free-sprung balance, again, just to keep the time more accurately in the face of the slings and arrows that a sports watch can encounter. Because Audemars Piguet eschews the unbalanced wobble of a unidirectional winding system, this 22-karat gold winding weight is actually a bidirectional winder with high-efficiency, unlubricated ceramic bearings at center. So you have an incredibly refined feel, even though this is a big, burly bruiser on the wrist. Sink the enemy, blow them out of the water with the pounder. You can see it and you can buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com.